That was Montreal's Mamselle Ruiz with Moliendo Cafe. We're now going to call out to her home country, Mexico. Some of us go there for sun and sand, but Montreal author and poet Nancy Snipper is there for more literary reasons. Her Mexico includes Gloria Steinem, Alice Walker, and Jane Urquhart, all part of a writers' festival she attended this month. She'll also be reading from her own book a week from now at the largest English library in Mexico in the town of San Miguel. We've called her up to find out more about the adventure. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Sonali.
Now, as I put on my toque and my warm coat this morning to come to work, I think the first question has to be, how is the weather where you are right now?
Well, don't get angry at me because I'm not responsible for it, but it's 81 degrees.
Fahrenheit?
Yes, 27 centigrade.
Oh, my goodness.
I think they said that.
And where are you staying right now?
A wonderful, typically Mexican village neighborhood called Colonia San Antonio, and it's a very historical area of San Miguel de Allende in a house. So all the little shops around here, the schools, it's completely Mexican, and it seems as if everybody's an artist here. It's a beautiful town. It's colonial. Every facade is colored in a rainbow of mirages and hues that you just don't see in Canada. My house where I'm staying, I'm renting from someone who lives in the States, and it's as I said, it's really in the heart of Colonia San Antonio. So you really do have to speak Spanish where I'm staying.
And you wrote to us about the place saying that San Miguel has a magnetic force of inexplicable positive energies.
I know. It's the first day that I got here, I set out to go to the Central Jardín and the Biblioteca, where I would be giving my reading, and there's also a piano there that I can practice. I never made it there. I walked out of my house to the first corner and started talking to someone, and he actually told me his neighbor has a piano, and he insisted I go with him to his neighbor, which is right across the street from where I'm living, and indeed his neighbor lets me practice there every day. And also I wanted to teach nearby, and that very same day, later on in the afternoon, I bumped into a pile of school kids coming out of a bus and followed them into their school and ended up teaching English there, and I still teach English there and a bit of piano. So it's as if you plan something or you want something, it's going to happen for you in San Miguel de Allende.
Tell us a bit about the literary festival you went to. There are quite a lot of big-name authors there.
For sure, and we had two prominent Canadian ones. We had Scott Turow, I attended it, Scott Turow, and we also had Jane Urquhart. Gloria Steinem was a major speaker, Alice Walker, Richo Blanco. There were many speakers, but there were I think there were 60 daily workshops over a 5-day period, some of which I took to try and improve my writing. It was such an exhilarating festival. There were many Canadians there and many from Montreal, many writers from Montreal. Everybody there is just on, it seems like a San Miguel high. The food was outstanding. The workshops that I attended were extremely stimulating. And of course, to sit in front of Gloria Steinem and listen to what she had to say, and Alice Walker, and it was thrilling for me as a writer, and even the people that aren't writers that come to this just feel, I guess, 5 years younger coming here because there's such an energy. Of course, the tequila and the margaritas after. That did help.
Yeah. What did you take away from what Gloria Steinem discussed?
One of the things that really surprised me was growing up in the 50s and 60s, I always would hear that she was such a strident woman and that she had some things about men. What I took away from her talking was how gentle and sweet this woman is, and she's turning 81 next month. And in terms of her philosophy, she doesn't believe in borders, polarities. She thinks we should just all unify ourselves together. So as she's mellowed through the years, she's probably the gentlest speaker I've ever heard, and her message was about women still fighting for their rights, particularly in third world countries. That was something she's founded, I think, over 100 associations all over the world. So this is a woman of a staggering energy and yet a very gentle presence, a gentle voice. Alice Walker was extremely interesting. She is a petite little woman, and she read from The Color Purple and was very gracious in answering many questions that we all had for her. But it was interesting because she had a very difficult upbringing. She was the daughter of a sharecropper, of sharecropper parents, and really, really struggled as also a single mother at one point. And they were all women to me who didn't come into being famous easily. Tracy Chevalier, who wrote The Girl with the Pearl Earring, who is a historian, really was fascinating the way she talked about history being very important as a writer and what history does for us. She had a wonderful quote about writing is the imagination is sort of a state of crossing borders. Everybody had something interesting to say. So it really gives you a chance, as most festivals do, to rub shoulders with some of the people you really hold dearly in your heart as an artist.
You actually got to speak as well at this festival, or you got to read your poetry at this festival. Mm-hmm. How did that go?
That was a hoot. I was asked to read some of my poetry, and it was very nice. 2 days later, on the street, a man recognized me and said he really enjoyed that. So that was very fun.
You also got to pitch your work to a literary agent.
Yes, a great asset for this kind of festival. The first agent, her name was Kimberly Cameron, and I wasn't able to get an appointment. She was completely booked. But I happened to bump into her, and she said, "Why don't you see me at 5:30?" So I started to pitch it, and then it rained. So we went for a glass of wine in the Minas de Real Hotel where the festival takes place. And she spoke to me and said, "Send me 50 pages," but I didn't take it too seriously. But then what happened, I had a true pitch session with Melissa Flashman, who is with Trident Media in New York City.
What's a true pitch session?
A true pitch session is rather daunting. We all took workshops on how to pitch. Most of us didn't pay attention to it. We got so nervous. But we're all sitting outside there day after day waiting for our turn. A true pitch session, in about 20 words, you have to state what the genre is and the hook, the crux of it. Then if the agent's interested, she'll ask you more questions about the plot, your platform. This is a buzzword for writers. Do you have some kind of a following? Have you ever written before? And if it's a really, really good pitch session, or maybe, I don't know, if it goes well, she or he, in this case it was all women, for women agents, they will ask you, if they like it, to either send you 20 pages, 50 pages, or the whole manuscript. I'm in a little bit of a bind in that Melissa Flashman did actually urge me to send the whole manuscript of my novel, and it's not finished yet. So I told her it wasn't finished, and she said, "Finish it and send it to me." So I have some work to do when I go back to Montreal.
Nancy, thank you so much for joining us, and it sounds like you're having a wonderful time.
Muchas gracias, Sonali, and bundle up.
Nancy Snipper is a Montreal author and poet currently enjoying a stay in Mexico. She's doing readings from her new book of poems, stories, and illustrations. It's called Beyond the Dream, Epic Solitude. The next reading is on March 9th at the English Library in San Miguel if you're down in Mexico for an extended March break.